Okay, folks, thought I would record another vlog, should be vlog instead of blog, for the Resonance 2 album. And yes, I do understand that Tom Schultz is currently lapping me as far as how fast we're coming out with albums, and that's not a good thing. So, rest assured, I am at it, and we are actually close. I think a target of having an album out by the end of the summer is very doable. So, to that end, I thought I'd just kind of show you what's going on and what's up and everything. To start with, I'm just going to record a short video. No, video. Wonders of Modern Technology. There we go. So, here's the studio. It's just a little project studio. I converted one room of the house to got some guitars there. It's a Carvin SC90 I got from my stepdad. Alcoa, nice. It's a new Ibanez AX120 there. It's kind of an SG replacement until I can afford another SG again. And my Ibanez bass. I got a Fender Hot Rod Deluxe amp. And it's a Marshall 4x12, their cheapest one, the little one. And what else? Oh yeah, and here's my Black Star amp. That's really the core of my guitar sound right now. So I finally got some real tube amps, and I found it makes a huge difference. So I'm trying to have little or no modeled guitars on the new album, although on the demo tracks I've got now, there's currently some modeled guitars mixed in with the regular guitars. And the only other notable thing about the studio is there are 7 speakers, 7 studio monitors. This is a full 7.1 surround studio. And there's my subwoofer down there, stuff on it. And there's my Agile 7 string you've seen before, I'm sure. So yeah, this is just kind of a storage room slash project studio, and got my Mac on this little tiny desk so I can actually hear the studio monitors, like the center speaker, over it. And if I get really paranoid, I can actually set this Mac down on top of the subwoofer. I've done that before to get a real straight shot at all the speakers for some detailed listening. And so also, what's critical to me, since obviously this isn't even close to a optimal listening environment, I've got another surround setup to do A/B comparisons on. So we'll go in the living room. Well, this house kind of has 2 living rooms, and the first one, the entry one, got converted into, it's very dark in here, let's turn on the light. Still kind of dark in here. So this is my, sorry, it's a little on the messy side, not too bad. This is my just home theater room. So I have a projector, piece of drywall for the screen, got to touch up a little bit. And these are my speakers. I have 7 of these. They're these little Yamaha, what are they, MSP5s or whatever, the ones with the steel grills in the front. That was important at the time because when I first set it up, I was worried about my toddler having his way with the speakers. So yeah, anyway, so I've got 7 of those, and a Yamaha subwoofer down there. It's their $500 one, home theater one. So yeah, so this is where I listen to my stuff just casually for myself, and also it's where I also have my comparison. You know, when you're mixing, you try to listen to it on as many different systems as possible, of course. And so I have 2. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, so I have 2 listening environments for the surround mixes. And yet, what's all this crap about surround? Well, it's very important to me that this new album be completely in 7.1 surround. So whatever your take is on that, I know some people don't care or whatever. And that also means that the stereo mixes are surround. So I'm not sure exactly how I'll release it. Inevitably, this is just going to end up with separate mixes and you can buy whatever you want. That's what's going to boil down to. These tracks are all going to be for sale on bandcamp.com. I'm probably going to throw out the demo versions just to give people something to listen to now if they want. And then once the final versions are for sale, of course, you'll be able to buy the whole album in several different versions. We'll have a binaural version for headphones, they'll be surround. We'll have a surround version for stereo speakers, and then the simulated surround. I've tried that; that works really well. Anyway, and then we'll have the full 7.1 surround mix, uncompressed audio, PCM audio on Blu-ray for those of you who want to have the full mix. And so, yeah, the way I've approached this is that the surround mix is the first mix. It's the original mix. Okay. For the demo tracks, I've done 5.1 versions and stereo mixdowns. Those have all been, for the most part, just derivative of the 7.1. So I just do what your own surround processor would do. I just fold down the 7.1 mix to a 5.1, but I do it the way I want to. I don't know how the other systems do it, but I did it in a way that I thought would sound good. So yeah, but that's the way those are. At the very least, when the final version comes out, you will have the original mix in 7.1 surround available on Blu-ray. You will have binaural versions of that mix for headphones as a stereo file, stereo recordings, and a stereo recording that's a surround mix for stereo speakers. And those will, I'm not really sure how to do it. I think the Blu-ray, yeah, well, I know. I'll decide how to divvy it up. My goal isn't to make a ton of money off of it, but I think it's pointless to have only the Blu-ray be available and everybody has to buy that just to get the stereo mix. So I think at the very least we'll have a stereo CD, which most people probably won't even buy the CD. You can just still able to buy the album on Bandcamp. And this will be FLAC files. They're not MP3s. They're lossless FLAC, so it's the same exact sound you would get off a CD. You don't have to worry about CD being better sound quality or anything. Those will all be available on Bandcamp. So you'll be able to buy a binaural version, the stereo speaker version, and then the full surround version. And I can't sell the 7.1 surround FLAC files on Bandcamp because they don't support surround, just because they don't want to. They're afraid the files will be too big. And yeah, so the only way you'll be able to buy those is going to be a Blu-ray disc. And I found this website that caters to surround audiences, and yes, you'll be able to download that too. And so you'll be able to download an ISO file for the Blu-ray and burn your own. And I think on that site you can have FLAC versions of the surround files as well for people that have a player that can play 5.1 and or 7.1 FLAC surround files. I think you'll be able to go that route too. So anyway, that's the overall big picture. Where am I at on the project? I've got a 30-minute EP done. That's got, what is that? 5 songs? 6 songs? I can't even remember. That's terrible. You can tell I don't work on this stuff off enough. So we do have, let's see. Well, this is dead air. probably edit this out. Let's see what we've got here. The current disc is 6 tracks. We've got 6 tracks done. It's about a little over 30 minutes long. And I think what I'm going to do is start releasing those one at a time. It just takes a while to upload them and stuff. And besides, it'll be a good way to kind of give people something new each couple of weeks or something. So I'm going to get the first track up here pretty soon on Bandcamp for sale. I think I've got some kind of demo up there now, but it's like a rough version of, I can't remember what I have up there. And of course, there's several Nasons on Bandcamp. I think I'm under Nason Schooler, that's right. What have I got? So it looks like I've got stereo versions of 4 tracks up there. Kind of wish I had the binaural versions up there. Yeah, but anyway, so that's what's up there right now. I might change that around, but if you want, if you're super hyper and want something immediate, currently, if you go to Nason Schooler Bandcamp, which is nasonschooler.bandcamp.com, I've got a really rough page up there that I've got to clean up. It's got 4 tracks on it, and so you can, what are they? Buy digital track, name your price. See, I don't even know how I'm charging for these things. No minimum. I've got these up there for free, man. So, better hurry. Right now, they're free for a limited time. I don't know. I've got torn on that, whether I should milk you guys for 50 cents for a demo track. But yeah, I've got these demo versions. When I come out with an album, I do my first stab. You get all the recording done, and do my first stab at a halfway decent mix, and put those on the shelf so that I can do a final mix when I have all the tracks together and then master them all together. If I do any mastering worth talking about, but so that's what these are. It's not like there's some crappy demo I threw together, just willy-nilly. But the mix is by no means the final definitive mix. The mixes you'll find they're a little rough. Some of them might have too much bass, some of them not enough, or just some instruments might be a little too loud or whatever. They're just a little on the rough side, but they're my rough cuts, my rough mixes. So I've got 4 of those up. I think currently for free on Bandcamp. I don't know. I think that's kind of a good way to do it. If you feel like donating some money, you can name your price. So if you feel like donating me $1 for the track or something, you can go ahead. Otherwise, yeah, just have at it. And again, those are FLAC files. A lot of those stereo mixes I'm not that happy with. It doesn't translate very well to just fold down the 7.1 mix to stereo and hope for it to turn out right. The binaural mixes are way better, so I think I'll get some of those up there. Yeah, it's just kind of the nature of the beast when you're working with surround. Okay, you want the end user to be able to get an idea of what the surround version sounds like, and that's the beauty of the binaural tracks. Because even with your phone and some headphones, just with a pair of headphones, you can get a pretty decent static frozen surround mix. It's not as realistic as the real thing because you can't move around and really hear the isolation of the speakers as well. But it is a decent surround mix, and it's like the same surround mix. I just took some time making sure the speaker placement in the virtual surround space was right to listen to those. And that's what the binaural mixes are. They're not like extra. That's when you get into the realm of binaural, you could go even farther. You could do a completely independent binaural mix and free yourself to having the sounds anywhere in three-dimensional space, even above and below and crap. And I haven't gotten into that. That's just this whole other can of worms. So what the binaural mixes are is a virtual surround mix. The same thing you would get if you took the 7.1 mix and played it through a surround processor that converts that to a surround mix for headphones. I've got a receiver that does this. It puts you in a virtual room. I think that, yeah, my old receiver didn't have rooms that you could choose from. It just had one. I know some environments have different rooms you can choose from and parameters you can set for room size and stuff. It just puts you in this virtual space and pops the speakers around you. And that's really what the binaural mix is. I just froze that, picked a decent sounding room and speaker arrangement and froze that into this binaural mix. And then the stereo 3D mix is the same thing. I just did some careful listening to those to make sure the levels seemed okay and everything. And again, but those are all rough cuts. For the final mix, what I want to do for the final album, okay, is first of all, of course, I will do the final mix in 7.1 surround. Then I want to do a final mix in 5.1 surround, not just place virtual speakers, go back and remix it, repan everything, mix it as if my studio was only 5.1, and so you get the best mix possible in that format. And then the same thing for stereo, go back and remix them as if they were only stereo mixes originally, so you get the best stereo mix I can give you, and possibly do something like that for the binaural version as well, and then the stereo 3D. Not quite sure on that one. But at the rate, my approach is the rate that it takes me to come out with this stuff anyway. And for those of you who wonder, I'm sure Tom Schultz, if he was honest, would tell you the same thing. Why does this stuff take so long? Well, it's not because I'm an idiot and, I'm slaving away for hours every day to try to make something work, although that'd be kind of cool. Somebody'd be really dedicated if they did that. And it's also not that I'm anal and I'm going over 500 versions of each mix to make sure it's exactly what I want. No, it's more of, if you look at the percentage of my time in a given year or decade, and how much of that do I spend working on this album, well, it's, like 1% or something. Sorry, I've got another life, I have other things going on. But every now and again I get inspired, and somebody just sent me a message on my channel today saying, please release this album. And I'm like, okay, that's good motivation right there. It's good to know that people are waiting and they want it. I mean, man, that's really something. So that gives me some real motivation. So I'm ready to get out there and finish this thing. And, it's really the home stretch. The songs are already chosen, unless I get inspired and just cook up some brand new song I want to throw on there. The songs are already chosen, the last 3 songs for the album, and I've really got probably 5 plus that could easily go on the album with a little work. But really the last 3, I've chosen the next 3. And once I've got those 3, it's going to be something around 45 minutes long, and that's about as long as the first one was, and that's about right. Personally, as a music listener, when I sit down and listen to a 60-minute album, it's kind of like work. I feel like once you get past that 45-minute or so mark, you feel like you're really disciplining yourself to sit down and finish out the album, and you're really working at it, which can be a cool thing in its own right and everything. But I don't know. I think just for me anyway, there seems to be some kind of sweet spot around 40-45 minutes where, okay, that's an album. I'm ready to go do something else now. So that's I think that's a good length, especially. And my approach on the last one, on the last album, which it's almost sad to think of, it was back in 2007. The last album, I had extra songs. I could have kept going and make it a 60-minute album, but it was like, as long as it takes me to come out with this, I've got 40-45 minutes worth. Let's just get that thing out there and put the next one on the next album. If I want to come out the next one album 6 months later, I certainly can. But it definitely doesn't seem to be the way this turns out. So we're very close. Having it out by the end of the summer is very doable. Uh, and even with all the extra mixing and stuff. Um, so yeah, and I'm going to start putting some of these rough cut mixes up there. I've already got uh, 4 really rough stereo mixes up there on Bandcamp. I'll try to remember to put a link there on my site to the Bandcamp site from here. And I've toyed around with the idea of setting up a Patreon page if people really feel like being a regular donor to the project or something, or just putting a donation for a one-time donation link to PayPal on the YouTube channel site or something, or my Mason Music site. I don't know. I'll figure that stuff out. But for now, if you want to contribute, you can just pay a little extra for the tracks available on Bandcamp or something. I don't know. In the end, maybe that's the best way to go about this anyway. So that's what's going on. Just wanted you people to know that I'm still alive and kicking, and we have another album in the works, and it's close. We're on the home stretch here, so things are looking good for those of you who are itching to have that album finally released. All right, people, have a good one.